Today we saw stocks come roaring back. However, the Fear and Greed Index is still sitting at 43. Is there trouble brewing up ahead? And remember, as we look at this stat, the first 10 days of each month and the last 10 days of each month going all the way back to 1928, we can see the first half of September isn't that bad. However, the last 10 days are going to be critical. And let's not forget, in the futures markets, we got to deal with rollover in the very near future. We look at indices across the board. The Dow was up 124 points. The NASDAQ was up 369 points. S&P 500 up 58 points. Russell 2000 up 61. We look at advancing issues versus declining. We see we had 58.9% of issues advancing on the day. Then we come over and look at the sectors. Technology by far outpacing every other sector, which is probably why we saw the NASDAQ ripping and roaring. Today, we saw NVIDIA on the move back up, and we got to ask ourselves this question. Is this a lower high in NVIDIA? And again, the jury's still out. We have a high, lower high, lower high, then we have a low with a potential higher low. Now, if this is going to be a higher low, then we want to go ahead and pull our Fibonacci extension tool. We want to measure A to B, B to C, and we project right up here for D, and look where that takes us, right back up here towards all-time highs. Now today, if we come over and look at SMH had a huge day out there today as well. And we're going to see, can this momentum build on itself tomorrow? And essentially looking for SMH to go ahead and make it back up towards this higher volume area on the composite profile, somewhere around 242.79. Keep in mind, if this ends up being a higher low, this could set up a larger ABC pattern on the way up. We jump over and we take a look at the dollar index forming a hammer candle, and we're right on the verge of potentially breaking out and potentially running up higher. Now, speaking of the dollar, when the dollar goes up, gold normally has problems. And for all intents and purposes, we're still stuck in this upper level consolidation where gold is likely going to make it back up towards the ABC completion at 25.86. Then we jump over and look at crude oil today, and crude oil on the move up, right? Basically having an inside day. And we look at crude oil on the 30-minute chart. These are areas that we drew out, I believe, in yesterday's live stream. You can see we came to the first one, we blew right through it. The second area, we got a rejection back down, and then crude oil was able to firm up here just a bit. However, not so quick. On the daily chart, we're still not above the swing low right over here. If we can't get back above it, I don't see a meaningful push in crude oil. However, with an inside day, expect a breakout or breakdown from this pattern. And let's not forget, when we come over and look at the economic news this morning, it was all about the CPI data. And we look at the CPI results, what do we see? Well, essentially, energy was one of the big leading factors for the CPI report to come in as good as it did. But wait, there's more, because tomorrow we have a slew of economic news, and we touched on this during this morning's live stream. In case you guys didn't know, I stream live each day the stock market is open at 9 a.m. I also stream the Asia session at 8:45. So we want to make sure you're subscribed. You have the bell notifications turned on for all. But we've been talking about this, and a lot of people are sleeping on this. And this is going to be the ECB main refinance rate. This is where they're going to set their interest rate decision. Now, a lot of times we'll see the euro spike a little bit around there. But more importantly, once the press conference gets underway at 8:45, that's usually when the euro has a large move. Now, why is that important? Because the euro is the largest weighting of the dollar index. So if the euro has an outsized move, watch out, that could put pressure, or it could accelerate the move up in the dollar, and that could affect our stock indices. Also, we have core PPI coming out at 8:30, along with the weekly unemployment claims. So buckle up, hold on tight, and we'll see what tomorrow has in store for us. Now, we look at the volatility index on the move back down. Earlier today, it was actually up, but the VIX closed down $1.37, down 7.18%. Is this the VIX just playing possum before we get that volatility spike, or is everybody anticipating a huge volatility spike in the market and it's simply not going to manifest itself? We come over real quick and we take a look at the diamonds. Diamonds this morning had a big knee-jerk reaction on the way down. Look right where we came to. We got right within that candle of that gap. However, we were unable to fill that gap just yet. And that's something we touched on in this morning's analysis as well. And in this morning's analysis video, we talked about, a potential larger ABC pattern on the way down. We made it right to the 127. And then look at this from the low on the 30-minute chart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 30-minute up candles in a row. You know what? We're going to be susceptible for some type of short-term pullback. So be on the lookout for that. Now, before we look at the small caps, I want to show you guys a chart that nobody is talking about. And this could be the dollar yen. Now, why is this important? When this chart starts going down, think about the carry trade unwinding. When that unwinds, that's what caused that big panic sell where the indices almost locked limited before the market opened. The beginning of August, we had that nasty Monday. Well, look at this box. We're right back down in that area. If we start flushing through that area, we can see a lot more problems up ahead. We look at small caps today forming a hammer candle. You can see the gap over here has been filled, actually filled it yesterday. Now, is this going to produce a lower high? Now, the jury's still on that. We're still waiting to see. We need to see a little bit more evidence. Now, as we come over and we look at the QQQs real quick, notice we came right down, essentially filling the gap, and now we've been pushing on the way back up. On the 4-hour chart, you can see the MACD indicator just trying to cross to the upside. On the 1-hour chart, MACD indicator is screaming to the upside, showing no signs of weakness at this point. However, when we look at the 30-minute chart, MACD indicator is still extremely strong. Now, as we come over and look at this, it's going to be critical. Do we come back down and at minimum test this point of control? I think it's highly probable tomorrow we will come back and test it, and we'll talk about that in tomorrow's morning analysis video. Now, as we come over and look at the futures markets, I want to make everybody aware there's only 6 hours left to take advantage of Apex's 80% sale, pass in 1 day, and $85 activation fees. If you want to take advantage of this offer, use the link in the description box down below and use promo code Mike at checkout. Now, as we come over and look at the futures markets, notice we were able to take out the point of control, and some people thought I was crazy. And again, I got myself in a bit of a pickle out here this morning. But I want to show you guys, this trade does not look like much at this moment, right? Essentially, I went ahead with some micros, got in with 3 different orders looking for the push back up. I got out here, and then shortly after here, I went ahead, went to the beach, went surfing for the day. But all right here, this little trade, trading micros, was essentially roughly $500 or so. And again, I got boofed on a short pretty good. So it was good to get that trade back. Now, looking back in hindsight, yeah, I wish I would have held on to that. I could have made a lot more money from my first entry all the way up to the high. That's about 680 points. Now, we come over here and we look at the 30-minute profiles. Notice, well, we got a problem, all right? We close in way above value area high. So what does that mean? That means that tomorrow or Friday, we're likely to come back and retest that level. And I know it seems crazy at this moment as we are so far above that price point. Today, we had a range of 746 points. Once they got the squeeze going, they just squeezed and squeezed out all the bears today, or at least we think all the bears have squeezed out. Now, value area high will come in at 18,953.75. The point of control is going to come in at 18,798 and a quarter, and value area low is going to be down here at 18,550.75. Now, if you're more of a conservative trader, as long as we're above this price point, the path to least resistance tends to be higher. But when we look at the candle count, right, this is a lot of candles straight up, and it's straight vertical. It's not a nice little 45-degree angle, back and forth, back and forth. We will get a pullback to some degree at some point, so pay very close attention. Now, before I went surfing, you see this little pink line right here with a white line in the middle. I said, watch out. That was a minus development area that I thought would come back and potentially get retested. And I basically laid that on the chart, left it streaming throughout the day while I was at the beach. And lo and behold, we hit that level, we broke through it, we came back and just rocket ship on the way up. There's a lot of money that could have been made out here this afternoon. Now, as we come over, look at the SPY real quick and see a nice hammer candle. And the SPY is still a lot closer towards the highs than what we saw, let's say, with the NASDAQ and stuff. We were able to come down and fill one of the gaps. We still have a little bit of a gap lower. And one of the areas we talked about was this upper level consolidation coming back and retesting the bottom of it. Well, you know what? We're right there right now. This is the fib that we actually drew out in this morning's analysis video, part of the live stream. On the 4-hour chart, we're about to cross to the upside, or are we getting ready to roll back over? Again, tomorrow, we have a lot of news coming out. 1-hour chart looks extremely strong, but is it a little bit ahead of itself? If we're going to start to pull back, watch a swing point right over here. And let's go ahead and draw this out real quick. And that's going to be from the wick all the way to this candle body right down here. And I really want to go anywhere from about 548.89 to about 549.25. Look for the market to come back and retest that level. And if you think about it, that would be a minor retracement. If we come out here and look, we pull our fib retracement, look where that comes in, just below the 38% level. Now, 38% retracement is considered a minor retracement and what could still be a very bullish move up, setting up some type of ABC pattern to the upside. Then as we come over and look at the futures markets real quick, notice we had a full volume profile rotation trade this morning from the weekly chart. We went below value area low. We came back above it. We made it all the way to the point of control and even all the way up here towards value area high. Now we close a little bit below it. If we stay below value area high on the weekly, then watch out for this high volume area, which also correlates with last week's point of control about 5532.50. Then as we look at the daily profiles, big move on the way up. Now, a lot of times when we close near the high of the day, during Asia, when it opens, we get a spike up even higher, and then maybe we'll start to pull back. I would expect maybe we get some type of D as in dog shape profile, but the news tomorrow could put a little bit of a hamper on those plans, given the fact that it has the potential for huge volatility in the market. We look at value area high, that'll come in at 55.42 with a point of control down here at 54.81.75. Value area low at 54.43.75. Now, I do anticipate value area high will get retested tomorrow or the following day. Now, if you guys want to learn about the micro scalping rule with My Funded Futures, watch this video right here.